But you know what? On to the next topic. I bet that everybody out here has got a stocking full of stories about your favorite holiday. And I don't mean Groundhog Day. I mean what day? What's the holiday?
Christmas.
Yeah, that's right. Christmas. So you'll be thinking about some of your stories about Christmas, because we got some stories coming up about Christmas. And Christmas is one of those real exciting times of the year. Not as much back then, but some of us did carry on about Christmas. So a couple people are going to help talk about that. Mary Phillips coming up here. Come on, Mary. Mary, she's going to be standing in for Lucinda today. Come on up, Mary. And then Donna Stinnett. Now she ain't standing up in for anybody but herself. She's a true mountain woman. She's a historian. Come on up, Donna. And I do believe that she's got a little bit of kid in her, because she likes to collect coins.
I do.
So you just hang around, maybe sit over in that chair with time coin talking over there. So Lucinda, talking about Christmas. Do you like Christmas?
Of course I like Christmas.
Do you like your bonnet on crooked?
You can straighten it.
Oh, there.
Get my curls right.
Yeah, they're right. They look good. So we like Christmas in the Oakley household.
We did. We
Yes.
always had a good Christmas.
Mm.
And somehow, I don't remember or recall why, but we always had a Christmas
Yes,
tree
we
at our
did. It
house.
was just tradition. I mean, look at the Smoky Mountains.
But some of the folks didn't.
No, they didn't.
They
But
didn't.
all around in the Smokies, these beautiful forests with all these trees. I mean, you had your choice. You could just get something really good, you know. And that was that time period before the logging companies come in and cut down about 2/3 of the forest. We had lots of choices for trees, so that's one good reason people had trees, I reckon. But we just sort of liked them, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yes, we did.
It was always fun. Our family always had a pretty tree.
Now, if you got a tree, you got to have something to put on that tree. So what kind of things we put on the trees back then?
Well, we put a lot of the things like Donna has here in her tree.
Handmade ornaments?
We'd save a bird's nest sitting on the tree.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We made a lot of things.
That's right. We didn't have much money back then, so we had
We
to
made lots of things.
make things or use what we had already.
We do things like string popcorn.
Oh, yeah. I remember
We
that.
put some holly berries in between it.
Oh, how pretty. Yeah.
And it didn't really take too long, because you could, well, you know, if you didn't get the needle in right, you could just eat it.
Uh-huh.
And-
That's why I liked when you was popping that corn, because I'd sneak in, I'd eat a lot of popcorn. That's why.
Yeah, well, yeah.
It was good, too.
Yeah,
Awful good.
he was just a mess. He would just, he'd eat the heads off of our cookies.
Oh, wait a minute now. Wait a minute. What else we put on the tree
we
first?
We put
Oh,
apples,
dried
apples.
apples.
We put some
Mhm.
apples on there.
Yeah.
We try to make some chains
Yeah, I can see
out
that.
of paper that we had just laying around.
Right.
I made these out of envelopes.
Construction paper or something?
Yeah, and then sometimes we'd have some acorn things.
Acorn,
We'd do some
yeah.
sweet gum balls.
Sweet gum balls, just all sorts of pretty kinds of things on the tree. Now, Donna, this tree here is, it's a little unusual, ain't it? Tell us about this particular
Well,
tree.
Back in the late 1700s in Europe, the Germans were becoming very concerned that all of their trees were going to be cut down for Christmas trees. So they decided to make an artificial tree. So they made this type of tree, and this is made from goose feathers. So it's called a goose feather.
Are you goosing me?
No.
Goose feathers? That don't look like no goose feather. I never seen a green goose.
Well, they have to take the flight feathers,
Uh-huh.
they cut them down the spine, and then they wrap each one of them around a wire.
Oh, a goose feather.
Yes, it's called
Yeah.
a goose feather tree.
Now, I don't reckon we had too many of those in the Smokies, did we?
Well, if you were rich,
Mm.
you could get one.
We didn't have
So
one. No, we didn't have one.
No.
We had a holly tree.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, that's real interesting. Well, now, we're talking about, well, maybe we could talk about some gifts now, since we got a tree, talking about trees, and what kind of gifts were given back in those days. Now, you have some real nice looking, maybe you should tell about what you got first, and we'll talk about what we did.
So a lot of families, they would make a coonskin cap for the kids to wear. And they would just take some of the coons that they killed, and tan the hides, and make the calf. They could just make a little hobby horse like this. This is before the Rocky horses.
He could do that.
Yes, so a lot of them were wood crafters. Even a little wheelbarrow like this.
Oh yeah, we had that boulder wagon.
Yeah. Now for their Christmas trees, they would put rag dolls. Now this one has been made for about 30 years, I guess. But this is a modern rag doll. But this would have been placed at the top of the tree. And they would have made smaller rag dolls to place on their big real tree. And some of the overshot coverlets, if they were getting worn out, they would have cut up, and if they had them for rags, they would make some ornaments.
Pretty on the tree.
Or just wind some grapevine wreaths. And this one is a whizzer. And if you, I was in North Carolina with these toys last week, and the little kids, they could really make them whiz, so you could really hear it.
Let's a little bit kid, let's try what you tell about something.
Okay. So this is something they would have bought. So this is a little monkey.
Yeah, it's broke. Oh, look at that monkey.
That would have been something that came from a factory. This is what they would have used to make their doll beds. Now my grandmother taught us how to make these doll beds. You take a cigar box, cut the lid. Now this is a wooden cigar box. Cut the lid to shape the footboard and the headboard, and then use your clothespins for the poster bed. And then we all had to sew our own pillow and our straw tick in there, but you'd stuff that straw tick with rags instead of straw.
And are those
yes,
spools of thread?
spools of thread. Yes, but that's what kids. That's what I did when I was a kid.
Yeah. Well, we didn't have the money to do a lot of things. What's
Make
that
our
now?
own little log cabin,
Oh my.
just out of twigs. And then, since a lot of toys were being made in factories in the early 1900s, they're making toys for girls that would be domestic toys, sewing machines, or a little scrub board, and a little bucket to do the laundry. Now this was a gift from my great uncle to my mother. Her mother died, my mother's mother died when she was 5 years old. She was giving birth to her 6th child and she died. And so my uncle gave all of the kids in the family a store-bought toy, because they never got store-bought toys. And he bought everybody in the family a raccoon coat, because that was the fashion back in the day. Well, my grandfather, he lived on a dairy farm, so he would wear his raccoon coat out to milk. He thought it was a mountain man coat because it was a raccoon coat.
Did you wear a raccoon cap to go with it?
I don't know what.
Well, good.
And you would make
Corn.
little dolls out of corn shucks.
We did
Use that to decorate the trees.
We did, but we also, I made some because we couldn't buy a lot of that stuff. We couldn't do the corn chuck, but I would carve my dolls out of wood. You know, there's Delft dolls, but we couldn't afford no Delft dolls, so we carved them out of wood and we gave them to the girl, and they really liked them, but what happened? The
Boys
boys,
that pulled arms off.
yeah, they'd break them, you know.
And he'd have
So I
to
had to fix them back
He'd
again.
have to fix them. They just like to hear us scream.
What else you
Now,
got?
well,
One more thing.
if you couldn't afford anything, you could draw out your own
Mhm.
game board and use corn or beans for your pawns on the board.
There you go. Wow. It's a matter of using your smarts, isn't it? Sometimes,
Yes,
to get what
and
you
just
need.
make a doll out of some scrap cloth.
Thank you, Donna. Let's give her a big hand then. In our family, I done some carving. You know, me and Elmer would carve the like little flutes for the boys.
Yeah,
and,
the flute, yeah, you did.
and we had another custom in our family of swapping gifts with one
Right,
another.
right.
Yeah.
Well, that was for the real, we was poor.
Yeah.
And we didn't have that much, so we'd gift toys back and forth to one another. So we'd have a special toy we'd like, so we'd gift it to one of the other children in the family. And then they do the same to us.
There you go.
And that was some of our biggest Christmas toys, was gifts or toys that we already had, and we passed them
Pass
on
it
to our
on.
brothers and sisters.
There you go.
And that was gifting a toy.
It was.
We were thrilled to have
Yeah.
that.
A lot of homemade things.
Yeah.
And let's mention gingerbread cookies. Now Rebecca, she'd make the gingerbread cookies. No, they were so good.
Oh, we looked
they
so
were so
forward
good. You
to those
like those gingerbread
gingerbread
cookies?
cookies.
All of you like those gingerbread
love
cookies?
the
I like
gingerbread
those gingerbread cookies too. In fact,
You.
I'd write the hair
Every
off.
time you
I'd
did
write the
it.
hair off those gingerbread cookies.
Chewed the heads off of them.
Good. You're why, don't you?
Mommy had to make us more cookies.
That's right.
We
But
just chewed the heads off of all of them.
that allowed me to have more cookies that way. But I knew you wouldn't took it.
They always got more cookies than us.
So there's lots of things like that. Now, we're running a little behind, so I think maybe we better skip ahead to the story that we want to tell. You think?